Roses are one of my favorite flowers in the garden. They're so feminine, they're beautiful. I love the scent, I love to eat them, I love everything rose. And wintertime is a great time to prune your roses. So we're gonna talk about how to prune your roses and also how to plant some bare root roses and even the different types of roses. But before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for more health and homesteading content. So the first thing you should know about roses is there's many different types. You have hybrid tea roses, you have drift roses, which are compact. You have knockout roses, which are great for hedging. You've got antique roses. And there's really three types of pruning that you're gonna do based on what type you have. And I like to lump that into drift roses, knockout roses, and then everything else. These are some heritage roses that I'm going to be pruning today. And so this is kind of like how you would prune the standard rose. It grows kind of tall. Its habit during the growing season is to not grow into like a perfect topiary or a hedge, but just kind of have its own form, because of course the trophy at the end are these big, beautiful blossoms. And so whenever I'm pruning any sort of shrub or tree, I first start with the essentials, which is getting rid of any dead, broken, or inward growing branches. Before I actually get my hands into it, I'm gonna wear these leather gloves, because as you probably guess, roses have thorns. What's that? Leave that quote.
Every rose has its thorn.
Yeah, every rose has its thorn. And then if you're gonna smell the roses, be prepared to touch the thorns.
Oh, that's
Something
good.
like
I like
that.
that.
It's beautiful, actually.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, if you're gonna feel the beauty of something, be ready to
Absolutely.
balance that out with whatever comes with it. So I do have some broken branches in here, and I've got some dead. I'm also using some clean, sterilized pruners. Roses are super susceptible to anthracnose, which shows up as a black spot on the leaves. The way that you can reduce that is by proper planting space, not overcrowding them with tall plants, keeping that airflow nice and strong, but also keeping your tools clean. So I'm looking in here for anything that is dead, like this, and I'm cutting that out. So I'm gonna take this back to a height about here. I'm gonna save all these for my rabbits and goats. They absolutely love roses. They'll go crazy for these. So I've identified the height in sort of a center place here of how tall this shrub is gonna be, and I'm gonna work my way out. I'm not going for a round shape necessarily, but I am gonna have the tallest point in the center. Now let's go to this other tall one. Again, this one wants to kind of grow inwards. It's got this nice little cluster though. I'm gonna start by taking it back here before I keep going. And so now I'm just kind of moving my way from top down. This guy's pretty tall, and it's crossing this branch here, but it's got a nice little piece here. And also, I'm cutting right below where there was a broken branch. You can almost see this scab. Hopefully if I zoom in, you can see where this scab is on this little branch. It's not a big deal, but it's gonna be a little bit more stressful on this branch. You can actually already see some anthracnose forming on these leaves. And you can look up close. Every cut is at an angle, as if I'm cutting for a bouquet. It's just gonna be easier to heal that way. All right. Now I have a little better view of what's going on inside. I'm looking for more broken branches inside, anything that's turned brown, anything that has that is growing inwards again. And that's pretty easy to do. Just grabbing everything on the inside that is broken, bringing it back. Ah, I think there is a thorn. Felt like there was a thorn in my glove. Hold on one second, darling. Okay, I will in just a minute. Broken, dead, brown. Here's another example, brown. All that's coming out. But this is pretty open now. I think this looks pretty good. And yeah, I'd say that's complete. Let's show you an overview of what this looks like. So here is what we're looking at now. Next up is my patch of drift roses. And drift roses you can have planted to look somewhat like a hedge, but you're not actually going to hedge them. So like knockout roses, you would take literally hedge trimmers or an electric hedger and hedge that baby down. And pruning roses in this way is going to help not only with airflow, but it's going to give you a prettier, fuller canopy. You can easily end up with shrubs like roses where the inside is all dead and you just have growth on the outside, and that is from improper pruning. So the first step is going to be taking back the overall So if you're hedging your knockout roses, or if you are pruning your drift roses, which are the in-between, you are going to start out with some hedging shears. These are akatsunes. They're crazy sharp. The only way to sharpen them is if you're wearing a chainmail glove. Extremely sharp. Use discretion when using these because they will cut through fabric. The very first thing I'm going to do is use these to get a general 1/3 down. And I am going to go kind of in a rounded shape, not because I want a perfect topiary, but just because I want the overall shape to be rounded. And so it really does help starting out kind of at the top, just like this. Once I do that, I'm going to try to collect as much of these roses as possible for my goats and rabbits. And this is why you want your gloves, because you're going to go in here, you're going to take it out, make sure that you've gotten any of your debris that's cut. You can even kind of lift it up, give it a good shake. I want as much of this out as possible. And what you'll find when you do that is you'll find outliers that may have been buried. So now I'm going to take my pruners, get some of these miscellaneous branches out. My little pile here. Like this random guy that just popped up after I gave it a good shake. Can prune this back to a node. Any really tall pieces, again, the same rule as before, anything broken, dead, or diseased. Here's a piece here that is growing inward. I'm going to go ahead and clip that at a node pretty low. And now that I've done that, I can easily see more what's going on in the inside. I can get rid of brown, dead, or diseased. Some pretty big chunks, in fact. This has a little bit of green in. This is kind of airing it out, so I'm okay with that. But I'm looking around now, and I'm getting rid of anything that is broken, dead, or diseased, or growing into another shrub even. Now, last season where someone came and helped us weed this bed, and they took out a bunch of our roses by mistake. And so we had to replant them, and a lot of them are shorter. So, in the world of pruning, if you have some that are shorter than others, the rule of thumb is to cut back as short as your shortest ones.
So even for these?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be drastic. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one back. This would be like a perfect, if all of them looked like this would be great. But I'm going to go way more harsh now because all of these, I want them to grow uniformly, and they never will catch up if I don't prune them. That's right. If you want to come in here real quick. What happens on this hill is we'll get leaves come and basically like pummel over. So you really have to kind of get up in here and remove some of these guys around. You know what I mean? Like almost like if you were a dentist and you really want to, like, you know,
Really clean it out.
really clean it out. You know, channel the dentist. Yeah, that's right. No more plaque that could cause cavities, or in this case, disease. If you see any weeds, you can kind of pull them out. Give them a shake, get those leaves out of there. And there's still more to get in there. But you can see what I've done. So it's not going to be as open as those other hybrid tea roses. It's going to be compact, but once you get it down, you're really just looking for the dead, broken, or diseased. All right, we're now going to move on to planting a bare root rose. So sometimes when you buy roses, especially a specialty rose like these David Austin roses, you might get them as bare roots. You need to plant them as soon as possible in the ground. And the most important thing is that you plant a hole deep enough to fit these loose roots. You don't want to break the roots, you don't want to compact the roots. So looking up closely, you know, here's a little sprout right here. I'm putting the soil line right here. I don't want to go any higher, otherwise it could rot this shrub. So I'm also choosing a face. What is a face? Every shrub and tree has a face, and a face is however you define the face, but it is how you want your shrub to grow. This one in particular has got like a V business going on here with a little like growth out the middle, and I'm thinking that I want this to be kind of shaped like this, so I've got a V in the front and this one growing out the back. And I'm going to place that face right there. I'm being intentional about the face of this plant. So I'm not smushing it down in the hole. I'm making sure that it's got just enough space. I was careful not to just put straight up mulch against the root ball. I want it to make contact with the soil. And I do have like a little what looks like a little moat kind of around the base. Whatever I do, I don't want for the base of my rose to be at the lowest point in this hole. Otherwise, water's going to go to that point and potentially drown the roses. Roses don't need that much water. And after we have these in, you can water it. You don't have to if you're pressed for time, because roses don't need a lot of water and the soil already has some moisture in it. But if you can, go ahead and give it a sprinkle and make sure that it's nicely mulched, and then it will be good to grow. I hope you enjoyed this session on pruning roses and also planting bare root roses. If you did, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for more health and homesteading content.